I guess you could say Laury was pretty crazy. Or maybe that's going too far. She just liked a good adventure. And in a small town like this, that meant getting in trouble.
She was a happy kid, honestly. She was involved, had tons of friends, really into theater. That was kind of her thing.
Honestly, she was pretty quiet. She had nice handwriting, though. Pretty easy to cheat off of.
Oh my god.
Am I going to be in the credits?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I hadn't seen her in 3 weeks. Not until her murder was all over the news.
Earlier this week, a UVM student named Laury Palmer died while drowning in the Patrick Gym pool.
Police suspect foul play and are currently looking for suspects in Laury's murder.
And you were her best friend.
You know, it's underwater basket weaving. Everybody takes it. It's a graduation requirement. Nobody had been killed, obviously, up until that point. So it was obvious that she got murdered.
She was always a great swimmer. There's no way she drowned.
The autopsy showed both water in her lungs and finger-sized bruises around her neck. The report was clear that someone had held Laury under the water until she stopped struggling, before leaving her, dead. She had an underwater basket weaving group. Kelly, Mitch, and Chad. They were all supposed to meet that night that she was murdered. At first, it seemed like a pretty cut and dry case. But the problem is, even with our suspects, we could not get a confession. And the fact of the matter is there was no DNA on the body. That pool had too much chlorine in it.
She was a happy kid, honestly. She was involved, had tons of friends, and she was really into theater. That was kind of her thing. She loved being on stage. It was kind of an attention thing for her, and it carried over in her relationships. She never really was single. When I say never, I mean never single. She was always flirting, having flings. It was totally impossible to keep up with.
Don't you two have a history?
Yeah, I mean, we banged once. Not a big deal though. She was kind of slut.
Do you know anything about who she was dating at the time of her death?
I have no idea, but I'm sure there was someone. Your guess is as good as mine. She was like someone on Grey's Anatomy, fucking everyone even when it wasn't consistent with her character development.
Laury was the type of girl who would just have a different boyfriend every 2 weeks.
Do I know who she was dating? No idea. There has to be someone. She was gone a lot. Whoever it was wasn't good for her.
Wasn't good how?
She changed a lot in college. She was a happy, outgoing person. She was a little crazy, but she was really fun. Like I said, she changed a lot. I don't know who she was spending all her time with. She liked to keep her squad separate, you know. Never liked when our worlds would collide. She never wanted to introduce me to who she was seeing. She loved seeming mysterious.
Do I know who she was dating? No.
Did you try to find out?
It was pretty obvious one of the group members had killed her. The boyfriend room was a dead end. The case did not have the hallmarks of a domestic dispute. It happened on campus in a public place. If it was domestic or a boyfriend situation, the murder would have to happen in her apartment or something.
I mean, honestly, I'm not even surprised that she died. She just brought that kind of negative attention to herself.
Well, it wasn't me. That's all I can say. Everyone in our class seemed pretty normal besides Laury. You know, she was definitely the type to get killed.
Why?
Why? Some days she'd be on top of the world, and then she'd just be like down. Does that make sense? She was just weird. Mitch, Kelly, and What was his name?
Chad.
Chad, right. Yeah, I mean, that kid was a douchebag, but like, not a killer. And I mean, Mitch was Laurie's friend.
You know, now that you say it, she has been spending a lot of time with that Mitch guy. It was kind of a recent thing. They met in class or something.
Yeah, you should talk to Mitch. Nobody else she had class with knew her in the same way Mitch did.
Mitch, I guess I saw him once or twice, but I can't say if they're close really.
Who do you think the cops should be investigating, if not Mitch?
Whoever her boyfriend was at the time, if he didn't do it, he knows who did it.
Look, even if we wanted to investigate the boyfriend route, we couldn't. There wasn't any evidence. And of course, we searched her apartment. The only thing we found was a bunch of meth. And if we knew who the meth dealers were in Montpelier, Vermont, we would have arrested them. So it wasn't a good option either.
The police let my family down. They need to figure out who she was dating and interrogate them.
I have no idea who did it. Laurie was so secretive. Like, I think she had a real drug problem, but she never opened up to me about it.
This one time, I swear she was high in math class.
Oh yeah, she did try to sell me meth once, but I didn't think much of it.
Drugs? No, that doesn't sound like Laurie at all. Like I said, she was a good kid. Bit of a slut, sure. Maybe even depressed. But aren't we all?
She was a complicated person, but we deserve to know what happened to her. She deserves that.
She was from Florida, so it kind of makes sense, you know?
Hello. This is a message from the ASPCA.
Let me vomit real
Please
quick.
find who killed Laury Palmer.
Oh my god.
Hi.
Laury Palmer.
My name is Bill Gates. I'm a billionaire, and I am funding the path to find Laury Palmer. They better find who kills her. They better find who kills her. Yo, motherfucker!